Alright, welcome back guys. We are back with a new video today, and today's video will be featuring the Kitakaze, the Tier 9 Japanese gunboat destroyer. Just had a pretty good game here and wanted to get it recorded. As you see, we are in Tier 9 matchmaking. Now, some things about the Kitakaze. This is a Japanese gunboat. So basically, if you hear the term gunboat or torpedo boat, that is a delineation between the destroyer classes in the game. Some ship lines, as the Japanese do, split their line where they go to a more torpedo-focused side that ends with Shimakaze, or they go to a more gun-focused side, which ends with Haragumo, and Kitakaze being the tier 9, you know, runner up to the Haragumo. In terms of overall power, I feel like the Kitakaze, in my opinion, is one of the most overpowered like ships, silver ships in the game, or at least I guess overpowered may not be the term, but like one of the strongest tier for tier ships in the game. This thing is just an absolute monster in its tier. And especially when you find yourself in tier 9 matchmaking like this, you can do a lot of work. So, as I said, this is a gunboat focused destroyer, so it obviously wants to use its guns more. It has these 100 millimeter super fast firing guns, and when you put IFHE on this ship to increase its HE shell penetration, it becomes a damage per second monster. So, she still has competitive torpedoes as well. These 10-kilometer torpedoes. I don't have the upgraded ones on this one yet, but these are the 10K torpedoes, and they do have a long reload, almost 2.5 minutes. But you can definitely find some uses for them. You just have to be very selective about when you're torpedoing, because you won't have that short cooldown that maybe a ship like Yugamo, which would be her cousin in Tier 9, would enjoy, because that's of course, the torpedo focused side of the line. So we're going into this game, and as any destroyer gameplay starts off, you want to check who has radar, and we actually get kind of lucky in this game that no one on the enemy team likely has radar. None of the battleships have it. Edinburgh is the only ship on their team that would have radar. The St. Louis is a Tier 9 French cruiser; it does not have it, which is weird because we have a Buffalo which has radar. So it's actually interesting that they don't have a radar ship. Um, Edinburgh could have it, but as we know, Royal Navy cruisers they have to give up their smoke if they want to take radar, and most people are not going to do that in randoms. So we're heading into the Bravo cap. There was three destroyers, me, another Kitakaze, and an Asashio, and we each split the caps. He went to A, the other Kitakaze went to A, the Asashio was heading towards Charlie. So I'm going to go scout Bravo for my team. No reason not to see if we can get this cap early on. This cap on this map is very centralized, as in if you go into the cap, you're kind of committing to it. And I don't like to drive through this cap because you can sometimes get caught by a sneaky cruiser at the start of the match if you see up to my left right here, potentially a cruiser would have pushed up close. Could have had a really bad time if I was to drive through this cap, get spotted by another destroyer. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull in here, and I'm just going to run to this island to get a quick turnaround, because I want to turn the ship around as fast as I can. Now, the Kitakaze has many strengths, but maneuverability is not one of them. The ship is very large for a destroyer. It's kind of clumsy. So getting her turned around is not super easy. So I'm just going to run to the island to get myself a faster chance to restart. We see smoke appear, so we know that another destroyer is popping in, and sure enough, we have a Fletcher. I'm going to pop my speed boost to make sure I can get out of here, turn around. Now, in a straight gunfight, I'm going to out DPS a Fletcher pretty easily. We see these guns are doing some pretty good damage. But Fletchers are going ahead and burn to smoke. I haven't yet. But I'm going to go ahead and consider getting out of this because I don't know what else is here yet. I haven't really seen any of their cruisers or anything. And Fletcher has very potent torpedoes. Fletcher has a 8 torpedoes that they are very fast and do a hell of a lot of damage. I'm in a very small corridor right here. And early on, I don't want to risk eating a lot of torpedoes from Fletcher. I just simply don't want to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and just for now, I'm going to lead because I don't want to get caught in a really bad position early. I mean, this guy kind of committed more to it. He blew his smoke. So like I said, I don't want to eat a whole bunch of Fletcher torps. And I don't think he actually torped me, but at the time I was thinking that he might do it. And early on, it's just not worth the risk to me to try to commit to that fight, try to dodge Fletcher torps with a big clumsy destroyer, and then potentially have a cruiser drive up around that other side of the island and blat me, and I just get killed, and my day is over. So I torpedoed his smoke just in case he stayed in it, which I didn't think he was going to. And I'm going to put my guns in here. I'm going to kind of hang out and see if I see him because I'm detected right now, which means he's close to me. And we're going to get one more shot on him. He gets one more shot on us. And he gets incapacitation on our steering. We get a fire, 4 hits, and our cap reset on him. So I'm going to go around. I'm going to go back to A. Don't have the A cap yet. They capped it right away, and then our Kitakaze got in there and started contesting it. So right now, there's not a lot of reason to not go over there and just help my friend in A. Maybe we can get this cap secured for our team, and then we can work back to Bravo. It's important when you're playing a destroyer, especially nowadays in this meta with a ton of radar cruisers and CVs, which aren't in this game, but it just in this meta in general. It's important to understand that you don't need to get the caps right away. You need to be scouting them and contesting them, but you don't have to get them right away. We have a Harakaze out here in the open. I'm using my Kitakaze smoke to kind of act as like a visual barrier for me to the other team. Had an opportunity to get Harakaze out of the fight, in between me and the other Kitakaze, that dude is just going to get microwaved, and there's really nothing you can do about it. So easy day there. So now we're moving into the A cap now with the enemy destroyer down here. It doesn't look like we have another big threat at the moment. So we're going to just sneak on in here and see if we can maybe get this. I'm using my torpedoes right now. I'm just checking what the St. Louis is doing. You see how he's behind the island? See how that little target reticle focuses him? Well, we'll come back to that in a second because Fletcher pops back up. I told our Kitakaze to be looking out for that Fletcher, and he turns away. So we get a couple quick shots. And I'm going to slow down here. I could smoke, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of threats. Like I'm detected because I shot, I was shooting my gun. Someone's close enough to see me, but as you see, there's no incoming fire. So there was really no reason to panic smoke because it looks like all the enemy ships either just aren't paying me enough attention or they're too far away. Those are the Fletcher torpedoes, and I was mistaken. It's 10 torpedoes that thing can launch at one time, it looks like. So definitely not something I wanted to be rolling the dice with earlier. But I was using my torpedo indicator a minute ago to see what that St. Louis was doing. If you see a ship behind an island that's detected and you want to know what they're doing, if you can't tell if they're going backwards, forwards, you can simply turn on your torpedoes, even if they're on cooldown, and the little white cone will show you, if they're moving whichever direction they're moving, because the lead indicator will start changing based off their speed. So, little trick you can use, even if you're behind an island, to do that. So, I took A. Our Kitakaze went over and took Bravo, and it looks like we have a whole bunch of ships around Charlie. So it looks like the A cap's pretty secure. I don't see a whole lot of other threats here, and I'm just gonna go off and I'm gonna head up and meet up with my Kitakaze in Bravo and see if maybe we can go ahead and get that taken care of. And then I guess we're off to Charlie. As a destroyer player, I try to focus on the caps. I try not to, I could go drive around the spawn and try to kill those ships behind A, but if they're just going to sit on the sea line, I mean, what do I care? I mean, they're not contesting my cap right now, so they're not bothering me. I'd much rather fight over the caps, kill their destroyers, and secure a massive advantage for my team instead of chasing some ships around the spawn. So an Edinburgh appears. He's going to come around this side, and we have me and the other Kitakaze here. He opens up on the Kitakaze to my left there, so I'm going to open up on him. Now, the Edinburgh, all Royal Navy cruisers are particularly deadly to these Japanese destroyers because they have that AP, and these Japanese destroyers are big, so they eat the AP shells a little easier. But right now, he's focused on the other Kitakaze, so I should be just wide open. If he was focusing me, maybe I'd be the one doing more of the smoking and dodging, and my other Kitakaze would be able to shoot him. But for the moment, he was very much distracted. So I'm going to go ahead and just start wearing this guy out. And I'm going to start slowing down. I'm going to try to juke some of these shells. We eat a pretty good bit of damage. We get a turret incapacitated. And then this enemy Edinburgh smokes up. Now, there's no one else around to spot me. So this guy doesn't have vision of me anymore, which is good. So I'm going to go ahead and just torpedo with smoke. I mean, if this guy is good, he probably won't stick around in that smoke. It would make sense that if you're a cruiser and you smoke up in front of a destroyer, you're probably going to get torpedoed, or at least they're going to launch torps. So why this, it's worthwhile for me to torpedo with smoke, but I mean, I don't really expect, like, I would expect this guy to just keep going around the island, like over towards the Iowa and just leave, but, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Enemy Kitakaze back here. I was trying to tag the Kitakaze, not the Bravo cap. Thought about shooting him, but he was kind of far away. But looks like a radar or something else popped up, and the Edinburgh reappears, and well, our torpedoes are right on the money, and he backs up into him, and that's a dev strike. He's down, and that is our second kill of the match. We are already up to 53,000 damage. So again, the enemy team playing very passive right now. If you look on the 5 or 6 line, you see a whole lot of ships back there. Again, I'm going to use the train to get turned around faster because now it looks like the A cap has again become the problem. If you look at the ships they have left, mostly on the 4-5 line, back up in their spawns, a couple cruisers, a couple battleships kind of playing very passive. So it looks like the enemy team is trying to congregate again around A. So I don't need to go to C anymore because that flank on, if you look at the mini map, our flank easily went ahead and rolled Charlie finally. So no reason not to go ahead and pop speed boost and try to stay in this fight. I'm gonna take a long range stab at some torpedoes. That Miyoko could come around and try to do some stuff. These are kind of wishful thinking torps, but you know, no reason not to. Go ahead and just see if I can maybe get some extra damage in. Arasashi is out there. He's pretty far away, but I went ahead and pinged the map and told him in chat that there was torpedoes in the area, just so he doesn't get taken off guard. And always nice to give as much warning as you possibly can if that's the case. So we're heading back towards the A cap now. We'll get the enemy Kitakaze in there. That'll be an issue in a minute. But this New Orleans pops up. Dead-ass broadside at 4.5 kilometers. And he's going to take a second for his guns. We're going to switch to AP. You wouldn't normally shoot AP in Kitakaze, but a broadside cruiser this close, no reason not to. 2 salvos, and that dude is wiped off the face of the earth. We're going to go ahead and open up on this Miyoko, too. We're coming up on island cover, so I feel good about getting a couple free damage salvos in. But I get greedy, and Iowa wrecks 5,400 damage off of us. So, that was a greedy play. I probably should have stopped shooting after I killed New Orleans, and I would have undetected before that Iowa shot me. But no rest for the weary as the Kitakaze on their team turns around and pops up, and I'm going to try to cut this guy off and finish him off. Now, I've got to go ahead and smoke here because I'm not at the health advantage, and I need to go ahead and get in smoke as fast as I can. This guy's in the open. He doesn't have smoke right now, so I need to undetect while he gets gunned down. And luckily, by just feat of RNG and some shell dispersion, we live with just 949 health. So, what to do now? Well, I've got to smoke for the next 2 minutes. I have a bunch of battleships and cruisers trying to cross back over to A, so I'm just going to start farming. You'll notice here I'm just kind of eyeballing where the Iowa is. I'm just setting my cursor just below his health bar, basically, and just kind of, taking an educated guess. This just comes with experience. You start getting pretty good at shooting where where you think the indicator should pretty much be. I just kind of know about where to lead. This guy's starting to turn out, so I'm going to aim a little bit higher, and I get 3 or 4 salvos off. I mean, you shoot so fast, why not get a couple off? It's not like you're going to be charged much more for the ammo or anything. And we're just kind of trying to see if we can maybe get out of this situation and get some more farming done. We do have this smoke cloud for another 38 seconds, so I'd like to still use it if I can. I could probably shoot these guys anyway with the island cover. I don't really need the smoke right now, but it's nice just in case there's, someone on the backside of A or something. Maybe could spot me. So we're just going to farm the Amagi, we're going to farm the Iowa, and this is where Kitakaze, really excels. When you're in smoke and able to farm battleships and cruisers with this HE, and you see with IFHE, these shells will basically penetrate anywhere on most of these ships, and the armor penetration is pretty ridiculous. I mean, you're getting these 2,300 damage salvos, and the reload on the ship is what, almost 2.5 seconds, if that. With adrenaline rush kicked in like this, I mean, our reload time is almost nothing. So it's the damage per minute we're able to crank out at this point in time is amazing. So Miyoko pops up really briefly, and we pop our reload booster. We're just going to flood that whole area with torps. This is where your team is traversing right now, and then we're going to try to just go ahead and get up in this cove, because I just wanted to accelerate and get away from that Miyoko as fast as I could, because if that guy spots us, it's not going to take long for him to wreck us. He's at 5.2 kilometers, which is well within our detection range, so I don't want to sneak out from behind this island. I need to just turn just enough to get this big clumsy ship out of here. And like I said, this is one of the legitimate criticisms or valid weaknesses of the Kitakaze is it is not the most graceful ship, even for a destroyer especially. She's a little thick, I think you could call it. So definitely trying to get this thing turned around is a bit of a chore. Executing this lovely 16-point turn here. It looks like all the enemy ships right here are out of our detection range, so we're going to go ahead and come around this side of the island. And basically, we're just going to wait on our smoke. We got 20 seconds, and our smoke comes back. So the IJN smokes are pretty balanced in terms of cooldown and duration. So they're not like US smokes. They don't last forever, but they also, don't have a long of a cooldown. So we're basically going to just put ourselves in position here to smoke farm this Nagato. Now, I'm going to lay this smoke right here in this channel, but I want to be careful because you don't want to smoke up right next to islands, because it makes it a lot easier for someone to guess where you are in your smoke, because they see the shells right next to the island, and they kind of have a frame of reference, or like a landmark, if you will, to know where to shoot you. So it's important that you don't always smoke up, right where you would have an island or something. So we're just going to back up slowly in our smoke, and we're just going to start shooting this guy. Now what I'm doing here, you see how these guns are sequentially firing? I'm holding my right click on my mouse to keep the camera locked on this guy, and I'm just holding my left mouse button. Technically, you lose a little bit of DPS over time, but it's nice to just point the cursor at somebody and just shoot. And it also makes you a little harder to see if your guns don't all fire at the same time. It's harder for someone to get the outline of your ship. And we burn the Nagato to the ground because he has 25mm armor, which is never going to hold up to those guns. And that is a Kraken, ladies and gentlemen, with our 5th kill of the afternoon. 99,423 damage, 9 fires, 259 shell hits, 2 torpedo hits, 2 floods, 4 cap defenses, and 1 cap capture. And that is going to wrap that game up. So Kitakaze, ridiculously impressive, ridiculously strong, and an absolute monster. If you're looking for a destroyer line to go down, if you're looking for some flavor and fun, this ship line is very fun. It really comes online with Akazuki at tier 8, and then at tier 9, Kitakaze is a monster. Harugumo is fun too at tier 10, but Harugumo kind of jumps the shark a little bit. It's like so ridiculous that it has a hard time doing destroyer things at tier 10, whereas the Kitakaze is still pretty comfortable doing destroyer things at tier 9. So that's something to look out for. But Harugumo is just, Kitakaze with more DPS. So that's your thing, then you'll enjoy the ship line. Hey guys, what I got for you. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.